Hello. This Christmas was truly the most unforgettable one of my entire life. It wasn't just about the sparkling festive lights that illuminated every street corner, or the familiar carols that drifted through the crisp winter air like gentle whispers of joy. It wasn't about the delicious warmth of hot cocoa shared by the fire, or the beautifully wrapped gifts waiting beneath the glowing tree. No, this Christmas was something entirely different. It was magical, sacred even. Something happened that touched my heart in a way I will never forget. It changed the way I see life, love, and the mysterious ways in which the universe works. For so many years, I had dreamed of this exact moment that I'm now living and recounting to you. I held on to hope even when it felt like a distant star I could never reach. I prayed for it countless times, sometimes with tears in my eyes, sometimes with a trembling heart that wasn't sure if such a dream could ever really come true. But no matter how uncertain things became, there was always this quiet voice inside me whispering, "Don't give up. Keep believing." And I did. I kept wishing. I kept hoping. I kept holding onto the idea that one day, somehow, this dream of mine would become a reality. And now, after all this time, after years of waiting, growing, praying, and loving, I can finally say it has happened. The joy I feel is beyond words, but I'll try to explain it because I believe what I'm about to share will touch your heart just as it has touched mine. This isn't just a story about love, it's a story about faith, perseverance, and divine timing. So please, stay with me for the next few minutes. Let your heart be still. Listen closely, because what I'm about to reveal is not only the story of my Christmas miracle, but also a reminder that miracles still exist. They happen quietly, beautifully, and often right when we begin to lose hope. For as long as I can remember, I dreamed of building a life with someone who truly understood me, someone whose soul spoke the same language as mine. And when I met you, I knew instantly that something extraordinary had entered my life. There was a light in you, a quiet strength that made me feel safe and seen. Every time you looked at me, I felt like the universe had stopped for a second, holding its breath just to witness us together. From that very first moment, I knew what I wanted, a future with you. I could see it so clearly, a home filled with laughter, late night talks under soft lamplight, the sound of shared dreams coming to life. It was never just a fantasy. It was a deep knowing in my heart that this was where I was meant to be. But as much as I wanted this dream to unfold smoothly, there was one challenge that felt impossible to overcome: my family. They were hesitant from the beginning. They didn't see what I saw. They had their fears, their doubts, their reasons. To them, love wasn't enough. They needed proof, security, something tangible. Their uncertainty felt like a heavy cloud that never seemed to lift. And no matter how much time passed, that cloud lingered, casting its shadow over us. It was painful to stand between two worlds, my love for you and my longing for their approval. I can't count the number of nights I lay awake, torn between the two, praying that someday they would see what I saw: the truth of your heart, the goodness in your intentions, the beauty of what we shared. And still, through every tear, through every moment of frustration and fear, I never let go. You stood by me patiently. You never forced, never demanded, never made me choose. Instead, you gave me space to let the process unfold. You believed in us, even when it seemed no one else did. And maybe that's why this Christmas felt like such a miracle. Because after years of waiting, after countless prayers whispered into the quiet night, something shifted. It began slowly. Small conversations that didn't end in disagreement. Shared moments of laughter that softened the edges of old wounds. Then, one evening, as the snow gently fell outside and the house was wrapped in the warm scent of pine and cinnamon, my family gathered in the living room. The air felt different that night. There was a calmness, a peace that I couldn't quite explain. We talked, honestly, openly, vulnerably. For the first time, I spoke not from fear or defense, but from love. I told them what you meant to me, how much you had done for me, how your presence had changed me. I told them about the strength you had shown when times were hard, about the kindness you carried even when misunderstood. And then, after all the words were said, there was a long silence. It felt like time had stopped. And then, my father spoke first. He looked at me with a softness I hadn't seen in years and said, "We support you." Those three simple words broke me. I cried, not out of sadness, but out of overwhelming relief and joy. It felt as though a heavy weight I had carried for so long finally lifted. My heart felt free for the first time in what seemed like forever. My mother reached out and held my hand. My siblings smiled. It was as if love had finally melted away every wall, every doubt, every barrier that had once stood between us. And in that moment, I felt the miracle of Christmas. They gave us their blessing, not out of obligation, but out of genuine acceptance. And that changed everything. This Christmas became the most beautiful one of my life, not because of the gifts or lights, but because of this gift, this blessing, this moment of unity that had seemed impossible for so long. It was as if heaven itself had smiled upon us. When I think about it now, I realize that this moment wasn't just the result of luck. It was the result of love, the kind of love that doesn't give up, the kind of love that keeps believing even when nothing seems to be working. It was the result of patience, of grace, of the quiet strength that comes from trusting the process even when the path feels uncertain. This Christmas became a turning point, a symbol of hope and divine timing. It reminded me that even the hardest challenges can be met with grace, and that sometimes miracles take time because our hearts need to grow strong enough to receive them. As I sit here now, writing this, I can still feel the warmth of that moment glowing inside me. The flicker of the fireplace, the sound of laughter in the next room, the tears of joy in my eyes. It's all etched in my memory like a sacred story written by love itself. I think about all the nights we prayed together, asking for a sign, for a change, for something to shift. And now, here we are, living the very answer to those prayers. Knowing that my family stands behind us fills my heart with indescribable joy. It's more than just their approval. It's a feeling of completeness, of peace. It's like a circle that was once broken is finally whole again. This moment has shown me that love, real love, has the power to transform even the hardest hearts. It can dissolve years of fear and misunderstanding in an instant. It can bring healing where there was once distance. And most of all, it can remind us that nothing is impossible when faith and love walk hand in hand. This isn't just a happy memory. It's a lesson, a blessing, and a divine reminder that miracles are real, even when we can't see them, even when everything feels stuck, even when we feel forgotten. Miracles are always unfolding quietly behind the scenes, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. This Christmas taught me that the universe works in its own timing, perfectly, purposefully, and always for our highest good. As I look toward the future, I see it so clearly now, walking into a new chapter of life with you by my side, surrounded by love and support. I see the life we once dreamed of taking shape before our eyes. I see a future home filled with warmth, laughter, and faith, a place where love will always be the foundation. And I realize something even more beautiful. Every delay, every tear, every test we faced was preparing us for this exact moment. Because love that survives storms becomes unshakable. Hope that endures disappointment becomes powerful. And faith that refuses to give up. That kind of faith moves mountains. So now, when I look back on all that we've been through, I don't see pain anymore. I see purpose. I see lessons. I see growth. I see divine orchestration. This Christmas didn't just give us a blessing, it gave me perspective. It reminded me that sometimes the universe makes us wait not to punish us, but to strengthen us, so that when the blessing finally comes, we can appreciate it with full hearts. It's strange how one moment can change everything, how one sentence, one act of love, can rewrite an entire story. That's what happened to me this Christmas. And if you're listening to this, wondering if your own miracle will ever come, let this story be your sign. Hold on. Keep believing. Because the very thing that feels impossible today might just become your testimony tomorrow. Love is not only the greatest gift we can receive, it's also the greatest teacher. It teaches patience, forgiveness, and resilience. It teaches faith, hope, and surrender. It teaches us to trust, not in what we see, but in what we feel deep within our hearts. This Christmas, love proved itself once again. It showed me that the light of faith can outshine even the darkest doubts. That hope, no matter how fragile, can grow roots deep enough to hold you through any storm, and that the power of genuine love can heal, unite, and transform everything around it. So as I close my eyes tonight, I whisper a quiet prayer of gratitude. Thank you for the journey, for the lessons, for the love that never gave up. Thank you for the patience that built bridges. Thank you for the faith that made miracles possible. And thank you, most of all, for you, the person who stood beside me through it all. Because of you, this Christmas was not just a celebration, it was a revelation. A reminder that love always finds its way home.